Well, hello everyone. Andy Spoons here. I hope this finds you well. Today I'm going to be covering some hook knife sharpening. I've had a lot of people asking me questions about sharpening hook knives, and today I'm going to cover just the basics. And I know that this video is going to probably bring up more questions, so please ask me any questions you have in the comments, and I always read everything. And I'll do everything I can to answer all of them. Just for full disclosure, today I'm going to be covering sharpening hooks with a hollow grind on the inside, so a flat over hollow grind. If you're not sure what that is, essentially it means that the inside of the blade is what you sharpen. A lot of the kind of more boutique bladesmiths tend to make that style. It makes it easier to sharpen in the long run. If you are starting out and you're looking for something like a Moriniv or a Narex or Beavercraft, a lot of those style knives have an outside bevel, which basically means the inside is flat and the outside is where the actual cutting bevel is. Whereas on a knife like the one that I'm going to be demonstrating on, the outside has basically a set radius and the inside has the cutting edge, I suppose you could call it. So today I'm going to be covering the easiest way. There are obviously lots of systems, sharpening systems that you can buy that will do all of this, but I want to make sure that the barrier of entry is really, really easy to accomplish and quite low to start with. So what I have here is a piece of dowel, 1 inch dowel, and some tape on the back. I have a second one with some stropping compound on it. This is Veritas green. I will do what I can to put some links in the description. They're not affiliate links or anything like that. I just want to make sure that I'm helping out. I also have my strop, which this actually came from a company called Jendi. I can't actually remember when I bought this. This was a few years back now, but I do use this all the time. And the other thing is just automotive sandpaper. So because I have already sharpened this, I'm just going to be touching it up. This is 7,000 grit, which is quite high. I would probably recommend, if you are starting to sharpen, you feel like you need to put an edge back on, starting around the 800 grit. Any lower than that and you're potentially doing more damage than good. If there is any big nicks or dings in the edge, you could go lower. You need to kind of flatten out the edge, but that's a whole different conversation. So let's get into the details of what I have and the process for sharpening this hook. Okay, so let's get started. Here we have my hook. We have the two dowels. We're just going to put these to the side. This is the Veritas stropping compound. We're just going to put this to the side as well. And then here we have the 7,000 grit automotive paper along with the dowel. And this is essentially all you need to start sharpening. The difference in the grit is something that you need to look into. You can find things on Amazon and probably local automotive dealers, like hardware stores and stuff like that. It can be hard to find high grit sandpaper, but what you want to look for is essentially a span of, let's say, 400 to 7,000 if you can find it. Realistically, you could get away with 800 to 2,000. Totally fine, there's nothing wrong with that, but let's get started. So here I have the inside bevel, and because you can see, hopefully you can pick this up, there is a high spot on either side of the rails, which makes sharpening it incredibly easy. And all I do, it's really, really simple. You can attach the sandpaper to the dowel if you want to. I literally just wrap it round by hand like this, and that's it, because I'm really only using this section right here. And then all I do is I put downward pressure on my dowel hand, and this hand is really loose. I'm letting this just float. And as I press down, because you'll see that you know, I can't really move it anywhere, but as I move from side to side, the blade itself is moving. And then as I push down, I'm making contact with both sides, and I just lift this hand up. And it's as simple as that. Now what you can do is you can push as you go just to make sure that you're not cutting into your automotive paper. But I find if you push with your sandpaper dowel hand, what you invariably end up doing is facing down or back. You change your angle a lot more. I feel like once you lift this hand loosely, you're letting the dowel keep contact, and you literally run all the way off the edge. And this allows you to do it fairly quickly, but really consistently is the key. You can keep a lot of consistent strokes this way because you're not relying on your own physical angles and your own physical hand position. All you're relying on is the fact that these two rails stay flat. And it is literally this easy. And you can see by all of this dark marking is that I'm actually taking off some very small amounts of steel. Because I'm not pushing quite enough, there is some small cut marks. I could probably push away from my edge just slightly. And because, so you can already see that there's much more shine with this edge. Now what I've done is I've very, very slightly pushed this edge. So I'm left-handed, just so that you know, that's worth saying. So the sharp edge is this side. It's not a double-edged, it's just on this side that's sharp right now. And what I've done is I've created a very, very slight burr on my rounded edge. And so all I need to do at this point is, well, actually, sorry, let me get back to the next step, which is just a little bit of stropping dowel. So you do exactly the same thing. And this is where you do want to push a little bit, or else you'll end up with cuts. And I have had people ask me about leather strops. I think they're a fantastic idea. I just don't have one right now. I would use one absolutely if I had one. And by leather strop, I mean a leather wrapped dowel. I think that would be a really fantastic way to finish the sharpening process. So this is now really, really sharp, but I have just pushed a very, very, very small burr onto the other side. It's barely noticeable. But just to finish things off, I recommend not sharpening this outside edge with any abrasion, because you don't want to change the angle that it's been forged. So all I do, I lift this up so that I can get my angle and just do a couple of passes. And all this is doing is making sure that that other edge has been kind of conditioned. You're basically pushing any burr or small piece of steel that you've pushed over to the other side. You're just making sure that that's not there anymore. And then just make sure that you can wipe your hand along that. Can't feel anything at all. I don't know if you can see that, but it's definitely doing the job. And then one last cut test just to make sure. And so if it's sharp enough to do that, then it's done its job. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful for anyone who has been a bit unsure about sharpening. Like I mentioned at the start, please let me know if you have any other questions. Put them down in the comments below. I have just updated my store over at andyspoons.com, so there are a bunch of t-shirts and a bunch more spoons that are available. I will be putting out a bunch more sharpening videos on axes and sloyd knives and everything in between, so please let me know what you would like to see next. Consider subscribing and liking the videos, and I hope this finds you well.